Yeah, my name is Seth Long. I'm the Executive Director of Homes Incorporated, a nonprofit affordable housing organization based in Letcher County, Kentucky. The house that's being built behind us is for Miss Lois Thompson, who lived in an old coal camp house in this coal camp here of Tom Biggs. Her house was flooded. The waters got up under the floor and took out her heat pump, her ductwork, insulation, that kind of thing. But the house was old and was in poor shape. And she has accessibility issues too. It's a two-story house. She had limited maneuverability in her home. And she came to us wanting us to repair her old home, of which we've repaired several times over the years. So we came out and we talked to Lois about the possibilities of building her a new 2-bedroom, 1-bath, energy efficient home with a solar component to it that would reach net zero. So the net zero distinction in our houses, what we're shooting for is adding solar to the roof of the home so that the solar system can generate in a year's time the amount of energy expected to be used by that family. So at the end of the day, the family would have a month-to-month base rate bill of $21.50 a month. So I think there's a lot of possibilities looking forward. To look back just a little bit, our net zero solar work on our residential housing started in response to the flood of July 28, 22. In that recovery, we had opportunities. We already had a solar line of business, a social enterprise around solar installation. We have not been super successful as incorporating that into the residential side of the work that we do until the flood recovery. To date, Lois's house will be the 5th house that will be rated net zero. But moving forward, I think there's a lot of possibilities. Possibilities because our housing that we're starting with is at least 50% more energy efficient than a house built to National Building Code, often scoring on the HERS rating system of between 50 and 42. That's super energy efficient. Therefore, it takes a smaller solar system to generate the amount of electricity needed on these homes. Looking to the future, the price point of solar components are coming down. They're getting more energy efficient, so we're getting more bang for the buck. And we are trying to make a case that this should be a normal thing that we're doing, not an outstanding thing that we're doing. We're trying to build that case or to prove that this could be done here in Southeast Kentucky. So the whole solar idea is new to this region. However, energy production is not new to this region. We've been a coal mining, these are the coal fields of Eastern Kentucky. We've been the energy leaders of the world. You know, we built America here off the energy that was produced out of these coal mines and out of this coal mine camp where we're standing right now. And I see a way moving forward. You know, coal has basically left the region in so many ways. I don't think it'll be back like it was. And looking forward, we're trying to say that we could continue being energy leaders in the nation, but maybe the energy production looks different than it did before. This is a way to produce electricity. There are a lot of possibilities beforehand. There's a lot of education that needs to be done. People don't understand solar. They don't understand the implications, the benefits of it, how it works. There's a lot of bad information out there about solar. I hear it every day. I used to have the same notions. When I got into this in 2019, I was a skeptic. I didn't believe solar would work here in Eastern Kentucky. Out in California maybe, but not here. But my position has turned 180 degrees, and I think there's a lot of room to do solar work here in the coal regions of the United States.
I'm Lois Thompson. It was a 2-story coal camp house, and it was built. It's over 125 years old, and from what I could understand, it was sitting on the riverbank used to go where my house was sitting. And during the years, it shifted and it started coming apart. The walls would separate. And then here in the last 10, 15 years, the ceiling started separating from the attic. And you could stand downstairs and look straight up in the attic. The walls were separating from each other, and you could stand in one room and look into the other one. And the floors was coming up. And it was, and by the floors coming up, it was making the upstairs get ready to drop downstairs. So it was, and then it's quite cold, no insulation, and it was. Thank the Lord, the Lord taught me how to survive, because it was a cold house. In the summer it's warm, in the winter you freeze to death if you don't know how to survive. So I thank the Lord for what I was taught. It still, to me, is unreal. I know it's real, but it still seems so unreal. And who would believe my latter days are better than my first days? I've seen the blueprints and I have lived, but just to see it is different than looking at it on paper. So I'm sort of anxious to see what it's going to look like. I've always wondered about solar. And I say, oh, we down here in the country, they no solar will never get here. So that's one of those things you think will never happen here.
Yeah.
But it will happen. And I'm grateful for it. And to lower the electric bill, I really like that aspect of it. Yes. I can't wait to be able to sit on my own front porch and to see my neighbors. This is home. This is where I've been 76 years. So to be displaced is sort of, don't get me wrong, I'm thankful and I'm grateful for homes making a place for me. But I still want to be at home, my home. So it's going to be a blessing. I had a ramp and the water, and at the ramp, then my porch built up. Had it not been for my porch being up, then it probably would have gotten the house. But by me having a ramp, it stopped it right as it got ready to come up. So I had a porch full of, half porch full of mud. And it was mud, it was quite thick.
Well, was this whole street covered?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's it right there, right?
Uh-huh.
Behind that house there?
Yeah. The water went all, I mean, it was pouring. It came all the way, you'd be surprised, it came all the way down the back. And I mean, it was setting. It was so much of it. It just came to the porch, went up under my house, went around my house, and came out the other end and went to my neighbor's house and went straight on back down the way. But we had a sledge pond up here.
Oh.
It's a sledge pond up there that busted loose.
That's what happened?
That helped too, because it really done us in.
Yeah.
It done us in. And in order for all that water coming, it had to go somewhere, so it kept on down the road and just destroyed everything that way.
My name is Regina Quillen. Beginning a new home, I'm so thankful. I just have no words to express the gratitude and the thanks that I have for this opportunity, for this blessing. Several years ago, in the 80s, we had a flood here, and the home that I lived in at that time, I was a teenager, got flooded, and it was like waist deep in the home. And my dad decided then that we wasn't going to be flooded anymore. So when he built my home, he built the house with an above ground basement. So my first floor was actually 10 foot above ground. And the water, when the flood came, it was lapping up into the first level of the house. So my house was surrounded by 10 foot of water. Even though there wasn't a lot of water that got into the top layer, the top floor of the home, there was so much damage from the water being downstairs, the mold and everything, and the flooring. I mean, it really done a lot of damage. I was very thankful that I was able to get some assistance from FEMA, and I had hired a contractor to help restore the home. I didn't want to lose didn't want to lose my home, even though it had been flooded. You know, I wanted to make repairs and stay in it. That following January, 6 months later, the home caught on fire and lost everything. So I lost everything twice in 6 months. Having to think about starting over again was scary. You know, starting over from nothing. I looked into you know, mobile homes, trying to buy something else, but I really wanted to come back home. And if it had not been for homes and for, and I'm sorry, the names are leaving my mind, the grant providers that assisted with me being able to purchase the home, probably wouldn't have a home. Couldn't afford to start over again this late in my life, but been very blessed. It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's got the appliances is coming with it. The solar panels, which is exciting. I don't know a whole lot about them, but knowing that they are going to help with, you know, energy assistance, and it's just, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to learn more about the solar panels. I'm very thankful. And I know that there's so many more people out there that's still waiting for a home. There's still so many people that are living in abandoned houses, living in their cars. You know, people living under bridges. So many people that is still hoping, still needing homes. And we don't have much in this area, you know, and thank God for homes and for, you know, the HDA, you know, all that they're doing to help people, but there's still so many.
My name's Clayton Johnson. I work for Homes Inc. I'm an electrician and a solar specialist. So what I do is I go out and evaluate a home or a business. I go and see if it's viable for solar. If it is, we usually go ahead and do we model the home or the business, and then I'll get the power bill and try to see if I can help reduce their energy costs. Their power bill is going to be the base rate of $20. Without solar, you know, it makes it hard for people to live here because of the rising energy costs. 18 panels on this roof at 390 watts each. This system is it will generate 9,000 kilowatt hours, and that's enough to put the house under net zero. Added along with the energy efficiency and the appliances and the insulation of the house. The DC power comes off the roof, it comes to the inverter, changes it to AC, and then the homeowner can use it. The efficiency there is 98.5%, so you're not losing much efficiency in changing the power from DC to AC. And it just feeds back through the breaker box. The homeowner uses it first. What they don't use goes back out to the power grid, and then there's a bi-directional meter that's placed in by the utility company. This meter tells what you're using and what you're producing, and then they pay you back at anything that you put out to the grid, they pay you back at a discounted rate. It's about 9 or 10% less than what you would pay for it. Net zero means that anything that you use, you're generating yourself. Throughout the year, you'll notice most of the time in January and February, around here, we use most of our energy consumption. And then in the summer, it's hot and humid here, and it's very cold and humid too. So your energy bill will fluctuate, you know, up and down. The solar doesn't do as well in January, February, and March because we're not getting as much sunlight. The days are shorter, and the sun doesn't rise up in the top of the sky. You know, it stays more around the horizon, and so you ain't getting direct sunlight. So what happens is as the sun starts to go through your months of April, May, June, July, the sun starts coming more up in the air. You get more direct sunlight, longer days. You start building solar. Well, if you're not using it all, it goes back through the grid and you get a credit. So once you get the credit and you start building this credit, then it carries you on through when you get down into November, December, January. You know, you can just imagine that slice of pie going over here to help to help float you through the winter months. Most of the time I do the penetration to go through the roof for the DC wire conductors to come down to the inverter. That way the solar shields most of the rain off of it anyways, and then you have less chances for it to leak. There is some benefits of the solar. It really helps with you, like on a shingle roof, it's not getting as much rain and it's not getting as much sun to bake it. You know, that's one thing that happens to shingles. They dry out and get brittle. The solar shields them so they last longer, you know, and the solar system has a 25-year warranty. The panels and the inverter, I always have to buy an extra extended warranty for the inverter, but I want the system for people who's on fixed income. I don't want them to have to touch it for 25 years. You know, so in the 25 years, that covers all the products, and that's also a production warranty too, that the panels will put out this much for 25 years. And then I can monitor the system. I hook Ethernet to them, and I can monitor the systems from the office. Every morning I come in, I look at the systems, I see if there's any alerts. If there is, we go out and fix it. So it's supposed to be a turnkey job that they don't have to worry about. It's just helping them. That's all it does.